In this course, we are going to discuss best practices and how to deliver an effective presentation to employers using Dynamis. If we think about the training, we start with the perspective of building clients out, how to get plan groups and plan designs created, how to get information into the system. Once we start to get more familiar with how to get that information into the system, we can now start to turn the conversation over into what does it look like to take that information, prepare, and deliver an effective renewal presentation. So in this course, we're going to really look at this from two different perspectives. The first is going to be what we consider the pre-meeting workflow. We're going to walk through the steps that should be taken prior to that meeting, that presentation. It's really at a high level all about organizing the scenarios and plan groups we have built and organizing them in a way that makes sense in the way we want to have that conversation with the employer. Once we are completed and have our employer what we consider presentation ready, then it's time to work on the different ways we can take that information and communicate it to the employer. While we're familiar with how to navigate in the dashboard, we also introduce the use of reports as part of our live presentations. There are separate tutorials on reporting that will go into detail on each of the reports covered, but in this course, we're going to focus on how to use those reports as part of an effective presentation. So now that we have the employer organized, we understand the different ways we have to communicate that information, we'll also introduce what we consider presentation best practices. Presentation best practices came to be by observing and participating in literally hundreds of Dynamis renewal presentations. And we really took time to focus on those successful presentations and really analyze them to identify what steps they had in common. This really allows us to provide you a roadmap where we can really teach you concepts that you can apply to any presentation. And at a high level, it really comes down to giving you a step-by-step guide on when to use the reports and when to be in the dashboard in terms of navigating that presentation. So as we go forward, we'll talk about how to customize and get that group ready for the meeting. We'll review the different ways we have to communicate that information using dashboard and reports, and tie it all together in step-by-step best practices that can be applied to any group presentation.